Okay, students, this is midterm review number 1. I'm going to go through the review for the midterm, and then remember, you can always pause or fast forward to whatever questions you need help with. So looking at the first question, we're looking for the equation of based on the table. So we want to look and see if there's a pattern. The x's are all going up by 1s, but if I look at the y values, there's not a pattern. So when there's not a pattern, we can always try subtracting. So 26 minus 10 is 16. 48 minus 26 is 22. 76 minus 48 is 28. And 110 minus 76 is 34. All right, so I know it's not linear because they're all different. Let's subtract again. 22 minus 16 is 6. 28 minus 22 is 6. And 34 minus 28 is 6. What does that mean? It's quadratic. It has to be an x squared. So y equals ax squared plus bx plus c is my equation. So we want to write an equation of the first, I usually use the first 3 points. So we're going to plug in for x and y. So I'm going to use these 3 points. I'm going to do the 48 first. So 48 equals 6 squared a, because remember we're plugging in for x, plus 6x plus, 6b, plus c. So here, I'm going to erase that, make it a little simpler. So I'm just going to write 36 a plus 6b plus c. All right, my next one, 26. Again, I just like to put them in order. So 5 squared is 25 plus 5b plus c. And then the last one, 10 equals 16a plus 4b plus c. All right, so we're going to do our subtracting. So if I subtract these, 48 minus 26 is 22. 36 minus 25 is 11a plus b. All right, and then I'm going to do these two. So we get 16 equals 9a plus b. All right, what's nice is, guess what? The b's can cancel right away. So now all I have to do is subtract those two. So 22 minus 16 is 6. 11 minus 3 is 2a, and then the b's cancel. Divide by 2, a is 3. All right, now we're going to pick an equation, one of the blue ones, to plug in for a. Doesn't matter which one. I'm going to go with the 16 equals 9 times 3 plus b, which is 27. So we're going to subtract the 27 from both sides. B is negative 11. And then the last step, we're going to plug in to the original equation to find c. So I'm going to pick the 10. So 10 equals 16 times 3 plus 4 times negative 11. Oops. There we go. Plus c. Okay. So if we do 16 times 3 plus 4 times negative 11, we should get 4. So 10 equals 4 plus c, which means c should be 6. Now, that's great, but remember, we got to plug it into our original equation, which is right here. So my final answer, y equals 3x squared minus 11x plus 6. So this is my final answer. Now, ways you can check your answer. Remember, you're going to type it in, take a look at the table, so I can graph it and take a look at the table, or you can always do an exponential regression to make sure you're correct. Okay, let's take a look at number 2. Another equation. What kind is this? Looking at the graph, it looks like, since it goes to the y-axis, it's exponential because it goes through the y-axis. So exponential y equals ab to the x. So I'm going to do 16 equals ab to the 5. And then I have 6 equals ab squared. So first thing we want to do is divide. So 16 divided by 6, 8 over 3. The a's are going to cancel, and when we divide, we subtract the exponents, so b to the 3. Now, we either raise it to the 1/3 power or you can do cube root. Doesn't matter. Now, this is not going to come out nice, right? So we don't round it until the very end. So I'm going to write my whole decimal down. And then we're going to take that answer and we're going to plug it into one of the equations. I'm going to do the second one to find A. So 6 equals A, B squared, which again is that. So I'm going to square that and divide by that. So again, I'm doing this in the calculator. So here, let me write it over here. You're going to get a crazy decimal again. 1.9229942. Whoops, 2708. And then again, the rule is we are always going to round to 3 decimal places. Actually, that is what B squared is. Sorry. B squared is that. Now divide by 6. I knew something didn't look right. Okay, so B should be 3.12012573458. Okay, now, oh, I'm sorry, that's A. Okay, so now we're going to plug in rounded. So A is 3.120, and then B is 1.387 to the X. So that should be my final answer. Okay, number 3. Read the question carefully. It says state how many and list the possible roots. So the first thing is we want to get it equal to 0. Okay, and then remember it's the constant, factors of the constant divided by the factors of the highest power. So I'm going to have 6 and then 5. So all the factors of 6, 1, 2, 3, and 6. Factors of 5 is 1 and 5. So we're going to do our little plus minus because all the factors are positive and negative. So I'm going to have 1 over 1, 1 over 5. 2 over 1, 2 over 5. 3 over 1, 3 over 5. 6 over 1, 6 over 5. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there's 16 possible roots because of positives and the negatives. Okay, let's look at question number 4. Find the roots. Guess what? I'm pulling up my calculator. You know why? Because in order to find what a root is, the roots are where it touches the x-axis. So I have to graph it to see where it touches the x-axis first before I can do synthetic division. Otherwise, I'm just basically going to list all the roots and guess and check, and that's annoying. So I know it's to the 5th power. I should have 5 roots. There's 3 roots there. So the first thing is I'm going to find them, and I'm going to write what they are first before I do synthetic division because we have to list all the roots anyway. So menu, analyze graph, and I want 0. So from here to here, looks like -3. There we go. That's kind of messy. 0, we're going to go from there to there. Looks like -1. And then one more time. Looks like 1. All right, so it doesn't matter what number you start with in synthetic division. I'm going to start with -3. So I'm going to put -3 in the box. Now, the coefficients, I have a 1, then a 3, then there's 0x to the 3rd and 0x squared, then a -1, then a -3. So just be careful of that. Bring down the 1. Let's multiply, add, multiply, add, multiply, add, multiply, add, multiply, add. Yay! I know it's a root because I got 0. Now, we're going to keep what we have, and I already did that root. I'm going to go with the next number, which is -1. Bring down the 1. Multiply, add, multiply, add, multiply, add. Did I make a mistake somewhere? Okay, I just found my mistake right here. That should have been a 1. There we go. And then let's see, multiply, add. That's a 1. Whoops, that's a 1, and that's a 0. So I know it's a root. Now notice, I knew I made a mistake because I knew that that was a root because I saw it in the graph. Okay, let's go with the last one. Bring down the 1. We're going to multiply and add, multiply and add, multiply and add. And again, it ends in a 0. I know it's a root. So what's left? I went down three times. So what's left is an x squared plus 0x plus 1. And we're going to set that equal to 0 and solve it. You can do the quadratic formula, but this is way easier. Square root, plus and minus. It's a negative under the radical, which means I'm going to take an I out. And the square root of negative 1 is plus or minus I. So there's my 2 roots there. There's my 3 roots there. So I listed all 5 roots. Okay, let's take a look at the next one. Except I don't think I'm going to have time on this video to do the next one. So actually, I'm going to end this video here, and then you can watch the next video for the next questions.